Beautiful people, my name is David Casper, and today we're going to be seeing if the Sunset Istanbul cruise is worth doing. Now, of course, with these type of videos, I'm going to be weighing up the pros and the cons. And of course, if you want to book this trip, I have a link down below to get your guide. And before anyone asks, this is not a sponsored post, but get your guide. If you are watching this, you know who to hit up. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into this video. And the first thing I want to talk about is the price. Now, GetYourGuide offer you 3 different options. You've got one where you're on the top of the deck, just watching the sunset with nothing included. No snacks, no drinks. You've got an option where you get snacks and drinks included, which is slightly more. And then you get the dinner cruise option, which is the option we took. I mean, you're on the boat, you might as well get yourself a dinner at the same time. You're on that boat for a solid 2 hours. We just thought it was a good way to kill the time and obviously watch the sunset. And yeah, £30 at the time we went. I believe it was off peak. This was in September, but I'm pretty sure in peak seasons the price does go up. And also bear in mind, the whole of Europe is getting a lot more expensive. Also, the prices in Istanbul now compared to 10 years ago is absolutely crazy. I have a video down below if you want to view the cost of Istanbul in 3 days, just to see how much you would roughly be spending. It's a good little insight for you guys if you do want to know how much you're spending in Istanbul. Now, the boat we went on departs near Dolmabahce Palace, and the boat we got on was called Lufa. You can see it in all the clips in the background. But one thing I will say is there's no point getting there like too early if you want to get a good table. We got there hella early, but the tables are reserved. There's tables by the window, but there's also tables down the middle. Now, one thing I will say to you guys is if you're there in a group larger than 3, chances are you're going to be put near the window. If you're in a group of 2, you're more likely to be pushed potentially to the middle. It's just something I want to give, a bit of advice I want to give to you. We got really lucky with our seat. We got one of the best views, but again, the seats are completely random. You might be placed near the center of the boat, and of course, you're there to watch the sunset as well as enjoy the dinner. If you're near the middle of the boat, yeah, you still get a view. The window's massive. It just ain't the same kind of vibe though, is it? But yeah, when you're seated at your table, the waiter comes over to you, basically tells you how the boat's gonna operate, the service that's gonna be provided, tells you that all the drinks are included. They have beer, champagne, wine, if you wanna get rum and coke, if you wanna get a vodka lemonade, they've got the lot. Just ask them, all inclusive for the time you're on the boat, which is about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. And they don't go stingy with stuff, they're not trying to save. So yeah, that is a massive positive and a massive benefit on that boat. And when you're seated as well, you're separated between 3 different sections. You've obviously got the people that are having the dinner, you've got the people that are just there for the light snacks and the drinks, and then you've got the people that are just chilling on the top of the deck, just there for the sunset cruise with no other benefits. Now, when the boat departs and you're cruising down the river, you have some pre-recorded dialogue coming out of the speaker, and basically talking about the history of every single landmark that you pass by, which is something I really liked. I know that's not for everybody, but it's something I did like because, again, you're not there to party, you're there to enjoy and take in the scenes, and just having someone talking in the background, telling you about all the landmarks, the history around it, stuff that you might potentially miss. I really did enjoy that. And it doesn't take long until the food comes. You obviously get a starter, main course and dinner, as well as the drinks. I believe the starter was 100% the strongest. It had all the Turkish traditional food, had a lot to choose from, a lot to try. And then you're asked if you want an option between chicken or fish. Now, I went with the chicken. I'm not the biggest fan of fish. My family went for the fish option. But one thing I will say, I probably should have gone for the fish because the chicken was a little bit dry. It was edible, it was all right, but it wasn't like wow, like that wow factor. So if you're there for the food alone, get the fish option if they still have that there. My parents said it was really nice, but like I said, the chicken that I had, a little bit dry. Now, when the dessert comes, it's tiny, it's miniature, but I mean, you're probably gonna be well fed anyway, so it's just gonna be enough to take in that Turkish delight and a few fruits provided on the plate. But now I need to talk about the negatives. Like, one of the biggest negatives for me on that sunset cruise, okay, and this could put quite a few people off. Now, when they're clearing the table, they're getting it ready for the next bunch of people. And I'm not just talking about like just clearing everything off the table and then making it look neat and tidy. I'm talking about fully unclothing the table, putting new cloths on, getting the plates on the table, the knife and forks, while you're still sat there 10 to 20 minutes before the end of the cruise. And to make matters worse, they literally physically put in food on the table for the next batch of people. Like, this shouldn't be how it works. And I mean, when we got on the boat, the food was fresh, it came to us, it was served to us. They're serving food for the next batch of people that you're not there for. Why are you still sat at the table? Like, I don't think it's really professional, I don't think it's really organized. And I mean, when they're leaning across you when you're just trying to have a good time, it does ruin the experience just a little bit. But I mean, the sunset cruise, 100%, it is worth it. Just be prepared for that final like 10, 20 minutes where it's just chaos, where they're getting ready for the people coming in for the party at night, for the belly dancers, for the music, just the party boat setting. Be prepared for that. But during this time when they're getting the table ready, just get up, just have a little walk around, go outside. I mean, it is gonna be dark outside, but you're not forced at your table. You can walk around and it does save you the headache. It's something we should have done while they're getting the table ready, but hey, it is what it is. It's something I'd recommend just to save you that headache. But overall, it's probably the best thing we did in Istanbul. So if you are going to Istanbul, do not miss this, because you would hate to miss it, especially if the weather's nice. Like, the sunsets are absolutely stunning. But that comes to the end of this video. If you did like it, hit that like button. Of course, if you didn't like it, for whatever reason, dislike it, but just give me a little bit of feedback in the comments. Something that I'd really, really appreciate. Obviously, I'm new to this whole thing. I wanna start making my content as good as possible, and I can only do that with the feedback I get down below. But anyways, I'll see you in my next one.